Imagine a company losing nearly €250,000 every single day. That was Lego in 2003, a household name, yet just inches away from collapse. Stores didn't want its products, kids weren't asking for them, and the company's debts were piling up so fast that bankruptcy seemed inevitable. But here's the twist. Lego didn't just survive. It reinvented itself and became the most valuable toy brand in the world, worth over $11 billion. And the rescue didn't come from luck. It came from one man with radical ideas who dared to cut deep, rebuild from scratch, and remind the world why Lego mattered in the first place. If stories like this fascinate you, the hidden battles behind the brands you grew up with, and the unbelievable turnarounds that almost never happened, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Because today, we're diving into how Lego rose from near bankruptcy to global dominance. By the early 2000s, Lego was in chaos. At first glance, you'd think everything was fine. The company had theme parks, video games, even clothing lines. On paper, it looked like Lego was expanding into an entertainment empire. But behind the scenes, things were collapsing. In 2002 alone, sales dropped by nearly 30%. The company had over 11,000 suppliers, making its supply chain a tangled nightmare. Costs were spiraling out of control. Every day in 2003, Lego was bleeding €250,000. And the most painful part, its very identity was being diluted. The bricks, the simple toys that had defined LEGO for generations, were no longer the focus. Instead, the company was trying to be everything at once: a media empire, a fashion brand, a theme park operator. And all of it was failing. Rumors of bankruptcy were everywhere. By 2004, Lego was $800 million in debt. This wasn't just a decline, it was a free fall. Then came Jørgen Vig Knudstorp, a former McKinsey consultant with no background in toy making. When he was appointed CEO in 2004, it was shocking. For the first time in Lego's history, the company wasn't being run by a member of the founding Christiansen family. Knudstorp didn't sugarcoat the situation. He described Lego as a burning platform, meaning if they didn't act immediately, everything would be lost. His philosophy was clear. You have to make dramatic changes when your platform is burning. And dramatic changes were exactly what he made. He cut over 1,000 jobs. He slashed the number of unique Lego pieces in half, forcing designers to think smarter instead of just adding complexity. He outsourced manufacturing to improve efficiency. Most controversially, he sold off the company's beloved theme parks to raise cash, something almost unthinkable for a brand so tied to family fun. At first, these moves looked ruthless, but in reality, they were the first steps towards saving Lego. Knudstorp's core belief was simple: Lego had forgotten what made it great. The company had been distracted by side ventures and flashy ideas, but what truly mattered were the bricks themselves. So he doubled down on the classics: Lego City, Lego Castle, Lego Space, timeless themes that let kids build their own stories. He restructured the product line, eliminating weak sellers and focusing only on sets that inspired creativity. This was also the era when Lego leaned into Bionicle. At the time, Bionicle wasn't just another set of bricks. It was a full-blown universe with characters, lore, and stories that kept kids hooked. It was Lego's first real attempt at mixing storytelling with toys, and it worked. Sales soared, proving that when Lego focused on fewer, stronger ideas, magic happened. In short, Lego stopped chasing trends and started trusting its own DNA again. Of course, focusing on the core wasn't enough. Lego still needed growth. But this time, instead of chasing every idea under the sun, the company became laser-focused. The big breakthrough? Licensing. Lego signed deals with Star Wars, Harry Potter, and later Marvel. These weren't random partnerships. They were cultural juggernauts that fit perfectly with Lego's identity. The Star Wars sets alone brought in hundreds of millions every year. And more importantly, they connected Lego with a new generation of kids who were already obsessed with lightsabers and galaxies far, far away. But Knudstorp made sure licensing didn't overtake originality. Alongside Harry Potter and Star Wars, Lego continued to push its original lines, striking a balance between familiar pop culture and the timeless appeal of bricks. The result was explosive growth. If Lego was going to stay relevant, it had to be more than just a toy. And in 2014, it pulled off something nobody expected: the Lego Movie. At first, many critics thought it would flop. After all, who would pay to watch a feature-length ad for plastic bricks? But instead, the movie became a cultural phenomenon. Grossing nearly $470 million worldwide, the Lego Movie wasn't just entertainment. It was a love letter to creativity, humor, and nostalgia. It brought adults back into the Lego world while introducing the brand to kids who had never built with bricks before. And perhaps most importantly, it proved Lego could succeed in storytelling where it had failed before. In the 1990s, Lego had tried to break into video games and tech, but most of those projects failed. Knudstorp learned from those mistakes. Instead of trying to compete with Nintendo or Apple, Lego started blending physical and digital play. Sets like Lego Super Mario and augmented reality kits gave kids the best of both worlds. They could build with real bricks while unlocking interactive digital experiences. This strategy let Lego stay relevant with kids glued to tablets without abandoning what made Lego special: the brick. But Lego's comeback wasn't just about kids. Something surprising was happening in the background. Adults were buying LEGO for themselves. The AFOL community exploded. People were building massive sets, intricate cities, and collector's models. Lego leaned into this with lines like Lego architecture and massive builds like the 7,500-piece Millennium Falcon. During the pandemic, this market exploded even more. Adults stuck at home turned to Lego as a form of stress relief and creativity. Suddenly, Lego wasn't just a children's toy. It was a lifestyle brand, spanning generations. At the same time, Lego expanded into direct-to-consumer sales, opening flagship stores around the world and growing its online channels. Now, Lego wasn't just something you found in toy aisles. It was an experience. The transformation was stunning. From near bankruptcy in 2003, Lego's revenue skyrocketed. From about $2 billion in 2014 to $7.7 billion in 2021. By 2023, it was valued at nearly $12 billion, making it the most powerful toy brand on Earth. What saved Lego wasn't luck. It was discipline, cutting distractions, refocusing on core strengths, and balancing tradition with smart innovation. Lego's story is more than just a business turnaround. It's a lesson in resilience. When everything was crumbling, Jørgen Vig Knudstorp didn't ask, "How do we do more?" He asked, "What do we do best?" The answer saved Lego, and maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes survival isn't about chasing everything. It's about focusing on the one thing that made you special in the first place. So the next time you see those little bricks, remember, they almost disappeared forever. And it took one bold leader to rebuild not just a company, but a legend. And if stories like this fascinate you, the hidden battles, the turnarounds, the strategies that save giants from collapse, then stick around. Hit that subscribe button and join us, because the next story might just be even more unbelievable.